You ever hear the term give an inch, take a mile? Well, the community is at it again, and things just don't seem to be letting up anytime soon. Let's get into it.
Oh, yeah!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. I've had many of discussions, it seems, on this channel in terms of the alphabet community, or the community, as I call them. We're gonna chat about that today because, well, I was under the suspicion or the impression, not suspicion. That's the wrong word to use. I was under the impression that Pride Month was that in itself. It was 1 month out of the year. Now, I've reported on this channel about over Easter. We've seen a all-ages drag show in Calgary go on at what claims to be a church, but also that Easter Sunday was labeled as what is it here? Trans Awareness Day now? Trans Day of Visibility. We've seen that even the CN Tower in Toronto, of course, virtue signaling, and rather than honoring a Christian holiday, they took the time to light up the CN Tower in the colors of a trans flag. This is getting out of control. Now, as I said in the intro, the old term give an inch, take a mile seems to be in effect here in Canada. Now, I'm going to make it very clear for the 50 millionth time that I don't care what your sexual preferences are. I don't care what you do in your private time. I don't care how you identify. My problem is how much I'm expected to participate in the three-ring circus that goes on around this. You're talking about what you do in your private life and what you prefer in terms of sex. That's what all of this is. Nobody holds a festival for me because I have made 3 children on this planet. Nobody waves a flag down the street because I'm a straight cis white male. People talk about trans rights, and I constantly say that trans people have the same rights as everybody else. They're allowed to vote, they're allowed to get married, they're allowed to pay taxes, they're allowed to divorce, they're allowed the rights to work for a living, pay taxes, buy a home, and live out the rest of their lives. When the community talks about rights, they're talking about special privileges that they get simply for making a choice in their life. Now, when we talk about things like the carbon tax increase in Canada, we've talked about how the government will charge people to starve to death, but however, they don't care that you can't feed yourself, but they will care if you want to lob off a piece of your arm or your leg and make Frankenstein parts for your body. But now it's gone a step too far because we've heard about trans gay pride month. We've heard about gay or pride season, they then said. It went from Pride Month to Pride Season to basically Pride Year. Because while Easter was robbed by this community, now all of a sudden the day after, they're posting about Gaypril. Uplifting and celebrating our LGB plus alphabet community. Cat Canada tweeting out, how many gay months does the alphabet community need? Anybody else getting sick of them trying to take over all months and holidays? We've often seen the gay community saying LGB without the T. They're fed up with this. I've spoken to many members of the LGB community, and they know as well as myself that I support them. I support their choices. I support their rights to be treated fairly and without discrimination. But this is, hang on, let's take a look here. Gay Pride Month, Saturday, June 1st to Sunday, June 30th. So why is Gaypril? So we take a month off in May? Is that it? Like, is that what I'm supposed to get here? Now, keep in mind the headline here, John Jay College. This is a university thing. This is why children are in debt when they get out of college. This is why we have such a woke, functioning society that wants to vote in liberal governments that tax people to death with children not children, but young adolescents voting for them because they don't understand the political realm. They're indoctrinated in universities and colleges to march in line with clown politics. And if anybody wants to fight me on that one, I'll be honest. I've seen nothing but indoctrination coming out of universities. I don't think that a university education does what you think it does anymore. I think there's a difference between book smart and life smart, and you definitely don't come out of university with life smart skills. Of course, I tweeted out good old Janice Irwin, um, they, that, whatever, this and that, whatever she identifies as we mark Trans Day of Visibility. I asked Danielle Smith how she can possibly justify making life so much harder for trans Albertans. I beg of her to take a good hard look inside and reflect. And I put, Easter Janice, it's Easter. Your community can take a day off for once, grift harder. Let's take a listen to what Napoleon Dynamite has to say here.
It really is a case of life or death. We really do have a number of youths who have nowhere else to go if they're not accepted by their community, not accepted in their home environment. Whose words were those? The words of this same premier just 10 years ago. And she was absolutely right. We know that queer and trans youth face many barriers and an increased risk of homelessness, with over 30% of unhoused youth identifying as 2S LGBTQ+. The premier knows this. She's known it for a long time. She knows the damage her policies will do. So how can she possibly be willing to make our province even less safe for gender diverse youth?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What I do know is that individuals who are going through these kinds of issues need their family around them. They need to make sure that they are loved and supported for who they are and who they're going to be. Creating divisions in families when individuals are going to need lifelong support is wrong. It's wrong.
Let's talk about families, Premier. Most of their parents didn't know they were out yet. Most of them didn't know if their parents knew there would be some consequences. One young boy told me if he came out to his parents, his dad had rejected him. Words shared by, you guessed it, this premier. The old her seemed to understand that while it might not always be easy to stand up and be courageous, when it comes to human rights, there is no debate. So I'm begging this version of the premier to have a good long talk with herself from 10 years ago and remind herself what it means to be an ally, what it means to ensure that young people are protected at home and at school, and what it means to be a leader who leads for all.
Honorable.
What is Gary Busey here talking about? Well, they're talking about, and I say they because I don't know what Janice is. What she is talking about is schools having the right to not inform parents about a child's identity by saying that parents don't need to be informed. Parents don't have rights. We've had this discussion to no end on this channel. And many people, I would say just about everybody who watches this channel, or if you're just watching this video, I'm sure you can tell where I stand on that. I agree with the premier, of course, that people have the rights to choose whatever they want to do to their bodies. People have the rights to, again, live their lives peacefully without discrimination, without violence. But what they're talking about and what they're backlashing the premier for is saying that children under the age of 18 will not have access to things like puberty blockers or gender reaffirming surgeries, that she's not going to permit those things, and that parents must be included in these decisions. Now, I'm not going to fault every statement made in that speech, that there aren't parents out there that don't understand or don't agree with their children's choices. There are parents out there that are very discriminatory when it comes to how children feel. I, for one, am a parent who, if my children came home and told me they feel a certain way, I would want to understand why they feel that way or for how long they have felt that way, and maybe understand if there's been any outside influence that has garnered why they feel the way they do. And if it was a legitimate feeling, I would support my children. I know not every household does that. But I certainly would not push for my children to get surgeries or medications or anything else. I know people that I still talk to from high school that went out and got barbed wire tattoos on their biceps in the 90s, and now they wish they'd never done it. There is buyer's remorse when it comes to some of these things. Some people jump on these trends, not all of them, but some of them jump on these things as a trend. They think it's the new in thing, and then they regret the decisions they've made, which is where I applaud the premier for taking those steps. Now, of course, when you look at university pages, here's Campus Reform. Washington University. This month is Gay Pearl at Western Washington University. Gay Pearl, the University of New Hampshire. Gay Pearl, this is New Brunswick, I believe. Gapril. This is was it California? California South, I believe. Let me double check that. I don't want to misquote. California State University, San Marcos. Gapril. It's all universities talking about Gapril. That throughout the month of Gapril, or in brackets April, because they're replacing it with Gapril, CSUSM will celebrate the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer questioning. So if you're confused, I'm confused with all this nonsense. Asexual and Ally Plus community through a series of events. Our events are centered around educating the campus community and celebrating the long line of alphabet words here community. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender Pride Month is currently celebrated each year in the month of June to honor the 1969 Stonewall riots in Manhattan. And again, that's where Pride Month originated. It was a bunch of homosexual men who were bludgeoned and beaten simply for choosing to be gay in Manhattan in the late 60s. That was a different time. And that, again, I agree, those individuals deserved rights to have their own sexual preferences. What people do in their homes doesn't affect me. So do as you will, live your best life, so long as you're not harming anybody. It says the Stonewall riots were a tipping point for the gay liberation movement in the United States. The purpose of the commemorative month is to recognize the impact that lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender individuals have had on history locally, nationally, internationally. So again, this is a group of clowns playing dress up, interfering in the gay community's month. They have taken what was normally a month for reflection, a month for awareness, again, for something tragic that happened when people were denied the rights to express themselves, and they've turned it into a three-ring circus. There are people out there that say, well, you're being too hard on this community. Well, here's the thing. Again, I don't care how you identify. I don't care what you want to do in the confines of your house. I am not and should not be expected to participate. If somebody says, my name is Gorlock, I'm the destroyer of worlds, and I come from the planet Kleptu, I don't have to identify them as Gorlock. I don't have to wear a Kleptu flag or whatever they're going to say. Do you understand what I'm getting at here? They can feel that way. I'd probably question if they should be on medication or if they should get some form of counseling or therapy. But, well, the entire year, every month it seems, has been hijacked by this community to just smear all of this in our faces. And again, organization outfits like Gays Against Groomers have had it. I know, again, many people in this community that are legitimate, that hate this stuff. They want to stay away from this stuff, and they're not fans. But let me know what you guys think about Gapril. Let me know what you think about these guys kind of destroying our youth moving forward in universities, because that's what I really wanted to focus on in this video, is the fact that universities are adopting these woke, clown-like policies while parents as well as students are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for kids to get supposedly an education, when all that's happening here is they're being indoctrinated. Let me know down below what you guys think. Again, leave your comments in. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. While you're hitting that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications to be notified of all of our content, and join us live here on the channel every Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, where we go over everything that's happened in the week prior, everything coming up in the week ahead, and some back and forth within this channel's community. I look forward to seeing each of you and every one of you for Friday Night Fringe this week, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.